So Raj, thank you so much for doing this game drive with me.
Dude, you're most welcome, and thanks for having me.
Sure. Yeah, we just need light. Yeah, we can fast that.
For now, I guess.
For now, improvise.
Okay, that's stopped recording.
Huh?
No, what's up?
It's recording.
Okay. It just cuts clips.
At the moment, Nairobi National Park is the biggest earner of all parks in Kenya.
Really?
Yeah, because usually Masai Mara and Amboseli are very seasonal.
Okay, yes.
But Nairobi National Park is constantly every weekend. Especially after COVID, because most people started coming during COVID when there was lockdown. So most Nairobians, organizations kind of discovered it, in a sense.
Really?
Yeah. Let's talk about the creators' fatigue.
Creators' fatigue.
Yeah.
You're getting straight into it, huh?
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So that's something that both of us have gone through. But I want to hear from your side. How did it begin? How did you know that you're getting fatigued? What are the symptoms of getting creators' fatigue?
I think, okay, you've been in the travel space.
Yeah.
For me, like, I've had this situation where I started creating content about Kenya, and because of that I had like a lot of a Kenyan audience coming in, right?
Yeah.
And Kenyans love to watch Kenya. So there was this kind of fear that I had, like if I go abroad and my videos might not be watched, so how can I monetize, or how can I sustain traveling abroad longer? And so the fatigue came through the situation that, like, creating content about Kenya, there's only so much. You can go to a national park and be like, wow, that's a lion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started running out of things to say for safari.
Yeah.
And like I need to go for safari because of Kenyans.
Yeah.
So that's where I started seeing a little bit of fatigue, and then I eventually just decided, you know what, screw it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take the leap of faith and let me start going abroad. We see what happens. So it turns out Kenyans were actually supporting me while I was traveling. But yeah, I saw a drop in views. Like when I was doing Europe, I saw quite a huge drop in views. But there were certain videos I was making use of SEO to like drive up my sales from international audiences and stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as sustainable. So of course I had to come back. And coming back now, like I was still stuck with that situation of how many times am I going to say a lion's a lion?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like safari is fun. Like this, just sitting and chilling and going on safari, so much fun. But make a vlog out of it every single time, very, very, very difficult. So that's where I went through my situation. Like it's like I had to come back home, raise money again, so I can go out again.
Yeah. Do you feel like you had exhausted everything that you could do here in Kenya in terms of travel content?
More or less, because okay, there's a couple of things that I noticed. I started doing hidden gems in Kenya, like random waterfalls, blue pools, blah blah, and for some reason they weren't blowing up. But like when I would do a normal safari, like in the popular places of Kenya, Masai Mara, Amboseli, those ones would do well.
So then it was a question of doing things that you think people want as compared to things that you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could say so. Yeah.
Because I get what you're saying, because I did experience the same thing whereby generic, let's go to Nairobi National Park type of videos would do very well.
Yeah.
But like videos that you really put work in, like I've discovered this thing and I need you guys to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love this story, don't really pop up as much.
Yeah. Like I went to Uganda.
Yeah.
And I made this video about gorillas. It was like a video I was so proud of. And you know, like, yeah, fine, in a sense it's a safari, but it's like so different. I put out that video and like till date, it's been 2 years, just got 10,000 views.
Yeah.
So I feel that when you put in all that effort, and it's just like y'all want to see me freaking safari at Nairobi National Park, like look at this.
Is there one that in particular that you really think, especially in Kenya, that is very super underrated?
Yeah, I think
that you've been to?
I think Garindari is underrated. Yeah. And what's this place called? Thompson Falls.
Thompson Falls, yeah.
Yeah, I think those two places are very underrated.
You can see ostriches there. A male and a female.
There's a clip I got of ostriches when I was in the Mara.
Yeah.
They were just like flapping their wings, and then it was like kind of at like 30 FPS. It just looked so
yeah,
beautiful.
You shoot in 30 FPS or?
Nah, I usually shoot 25, but then when I'm shooting animals, I do 30 because like that's the slowest I can go.
Yeah.
But if I had like the Z6 II, I would be doing like 4K 60. Hey, but the grass has grown, huh?
Yeah. So and
grass is quite tall.
Usually wildlife don't like this kind of grass. So when it rains, that's why it's very hard to see wildlife during this period. They don't like this kind of grass because it's too, especially hoofed wildlife like buffaloes.
Yeah.
It gets into the hooves when they're walking.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it's dry, that's when you see
all of them.
Yeah, buffaloes, wildebeests. And then predators follow them.
Yeah.
So if they're not here, then they will not be here.
Then exactly. Yeah.
So sometimes rain is good because it will give them food, but then for a wildlife experience, it's not that
good. Goddamn, us humans are selfish.
Yeah, we're very selfish.
Like we don't care about your hooves.
Yeah.
Come and stand here and avail yourselves.
So when you went to Europe,
I
saw you went to Italy. You say that you went to Spain, but you haven't uploaded it yet.
Yeah.
You've done Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Which is Netherlands, yeah?
Yes. Belgium.
You've done France. Of all those European countries, which has been your favorite experience?
Italy. Italy was amazing, yeah. I think Italy because, of course, that was the first European country that I landed in. There was so much excitement about it. And the food was just so incredible. Like, they really care about organic stuff. When you see my hand going, it goes like this. They really care about organic stuff. So like, you may think you're eating like junk food when you're eating a pizza, but after you're done with the pizza, you actually feel really good because it's like all organic products. Yeah. The thing with the European cities, if you've seen one, I feel like you've seen them all because like
they all look the same.
This may sound so what's the word? People might hate on me for this, but it's like all the architecture just starts looking the same. It's like, okay, buildings, Catholic, architecture.
Old Catholic buildings.
Yeah. So if you've seen it once, like, it's kind of like the safari situation, like when you go for a safari, you'll always see like a different version of something. Or like if you see a lion, you'll see it interacting in a different way. So in Europe, you go see the buildings.
It's more or less the same place, different venues. It's like one is in italics, the other is in bold.
Exactly.
Regular. But the same font.
Exactly.
So how did the name come about?
So the name Adventure Singh, again, like I was saying, I'm from the Sikh community, and in Singhs, like you have a lot of guys who are called weird names like Lucky Singh, Happy Singh. So I was like, wouldn't it be so funny if I called myself Adventure Singh? Because I was thinking about like a name for my YouTube channel, and at the time I was a huge fan of. Do you know Lost LeBlanc?
His name?
Christian,
LeBlanc. I know him. I know him.
So like his name was Lost LeBlanc. So I was like, what if I just picked like, and at the time like I was all about adventure and stuff. So I was like, what if I do Adventure Singh?
Yeah.
And like it just stuck. So before I'd watch like vlogs on just random vlogs. I think one of my friends was like, do you know what a vlog is? And I'm like, no. He's like, follow Casey Neistat. You know Casey Neistat?
Yeah.
So I saw Casey Neistat, I followed him, and I followed like Louis Fun for Louis.
Fun for Louis,
Yeah. Fun for Louis was also doing travel.
Yeah, with his girlfriend.
then like I got this recommendation of Los LeBlanc, and he made this video of how he's been traveling for the past 8 months, something like that. So I know when that video was first recommended to me, I was like, look at this show off, because like I was at a point in my life where I was like, I hate what I'm doing. My life is just annoying.
Yeah.
And this guy's here talking about like traveling for the last 8 months, like screw this shit.
Yeah.
And I got recommended that video again, and I watched the entire thing, and it inspired me so much to a point where I was like, so I was studying dentistry at the time.
So you
Yeah. So then after I watched that video, I started considering like quitting to pursue travel vlogging.
Yeah. And so you were doing, you wanted to be a dentist, right? Or that was your career path?
It was my career path. It was chosen for me.
It was chosen for you.
Yeah.
Had you already started going to school and stuff like that?
Yeah, dude. I reached third year, man.
Wow.
And it was a 5-year course.
Yeah.
So I told my parents, look, I'm going to complete third year so that people don't say, oh, your son failed and left. I'm just going to complete it, pass it, and then, but I'm out. Actually, first I told them I want to take a 1-year gap year.
Yeah. How did they?
So they were comfortable with the 1-year gap year.
Yeah.
Then 1 year later, it's very much easy to say, I'm not going back. So they were just like, oh shit.
How did they feel about you dropping out? Like, what was the conversation? How did you give them that conversation?
I don't think it really like phased them, because I was shooting weddings at the time, and like I was doing really well with weddings to a point where I started paying my own fees, and they were so impressed.
Yeah.
But then we had like uni strikes, a lot of them, and because of that I couldn't really book in clients because we didn't know when like school will open, when exams will go on and all that stuff. So I couldn't take on clients.
Yeah.
And that was losing me a lot of revenue. So it was very easy to go to my parents and just be like, I feel like I'm making a lot more money with wedding photography, and I'm losing it now being here.
Yeah.
So I kind of used that as an excuse. Like I knew I wanted to be a travel vlogger, but I used wedding photography. And I think it came a bit more of a shock to them when I told them, okay, like I'm actually pursuing travel vlogging, not wedding photography.
Yeah.
But they had faith in me. I had already proved to them once that I can take something like wedding photography, make it super big. I don't think travel vlogging would be that much of an issue.
Yeah. So before you started vlogging, you had the experience in wedding photography.
Yes.
On how to film, edit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. So you had at least something.
A little bit of a background, yeah.
Yeah. At what point did you tell them, okay, now I'm doing vlogs? Or did you show them? Did you ever show them your vlogs?
I did. Yeah. They've been supporting me since day one. Since day one. Like even since my first cringy video.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And they're here just eating food. They're there. That's a solid shot, bro.
Yo, it's still alive.
What?
Yeah. You can hear it making sounds.
Nah, they're eating the head, bro.
What's that making? The noise, the sound?
Yo, that's brutal. Okay, guys, hit in his face, give it a go. I think what would happen if we went around that way? I think we'll be blocked.
Yeah. I think we can just go.
Yeah.
I think let's go and look for rhinos. There's a WhatsApp group, Nairobi National Park, that people show sightings. I want to see if anyone has spotted a rhino today. So.
Okay.
Do you remember the 2020 statehouse incident?
Don't bring that up. I feel like I'm too big. I don't want to come under the radar.
The reason I'm bringing it up is where do you draw the line as a creator of who can use your content and when they can use it?
Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like back then I was small in my content creation journey, and I think, for lack of a better term, broke AF. First of all, it was 2020. So that's why I made a lot of noise about it. But I would say, you know, as you grow bigger and bigger, like a lot of people will steal your content and you won't even know. So like sometimes I'll have a follower send me like a video and be like, oh, they've used your content. Then at that point you have to see, like, is it worth my time fighting for this or just let it be? And I feel like I'm at a point where I don't care. I feel like I'm making enough from my own avenues where it's like, okay, just what else, you know? I can't firefight.
Yeah.
Instead of, I need to build more buildings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'd rather use more energy building those buildings?
Than to go and firefight. You know what I mean? Yeah.
For me, I have the same thing where people use my content in their videos, and I never really have a problem, especially if you're a single creator.
Yeah.
I only have a problem if you're an organization.
Yeah, also true. Also that plays a little bit of a factor. Yeah. I mean, if it's a huge if someone has shared like a huge organization, then it's like, okay, there's something that can be done here. But the other thing with huge organizations, I feel like at the time when I made noise about the state, they were quick to like sort things out because Uhuru just had announced that they want to compensate creators, they want to compensate artists, and them stealing the work was kind of like a huge embarrassment. But with other organizations, in fact, there's one organization that I saw a picture of Zanel, me, and Jasper, and I reached out and I'm like, you guys, like, there was never any consent. They used them on their flyers.
Wow. So they even printed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, I reached out and I told them, you know, this something like this would cost X amount, and they didn't even bother because you see, a big organization like that can afford lawyers.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, for me now, does it make sense to go and get a lawyer? Does it make sense for me to move on and just keep building?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where another like situation arises. Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
But okay, the good thing is that with the judiciary at the moment, with the small court claims thing, you don't even need a lawyer as long as you have documentation.
Oh, really?
And it's solved within a month. That's the rule, 30 days.
Oh, wow.
But the amount has to be less than $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you make your claim with judiciary, there's this university student who I can't remember the university. They used her photo in the flyers without her consent. The marketing thing. She went there and she was paid $750K within a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because you have the flyer, right?
Yeah. And you don't have the consent.
And you don't have the consent. So so it's not even about having a lawyer and bullshitting your way out of paying.
Oh, that's
for the
new
service.
information.
Yeah. So small court claims is something that I feel like creators need to know about and learn about.
Yeah, definitely.
You don't really need lawyers, honestly.
Wow.
So you already the risk of acquiring legal fees and all that stuff is not there.
It's gone. Yeah.
Then you got into making content in the travel space. Why travel?
I've always wanted to travel.
You know Dr. Mike?
Yeah.
And there's this other doctor. What's his name?
Yeah, there are many like really cool doctors on Ali Abdal.
Yeah, Ali Abdal.
Yeah.
You could have made content like that. Why did you decide to do travel?
I didn't know. Actually, I didn't know. Like, I think Dr. Mike came like way after I started my journey. I think the content creation space, after I'd started my journey, like really grew. And a lot of these creative people were coming in with their angles. Like Dr. Mike came in with his angle of medicine. And also so did Ali Abdal, and they made it so like interesting. But I wasn't passionate. Okay, I liked dentistry when I got into it, but I think I liked it because I had to do it. It wasn't something I was like so passionate about. So yeah, that's why I don't think I would ever do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then travel. Like I've always wanted to travel. My childhood, we never traveled that much, and when we would, it would be like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to experience these hotels.
Yeah, you wanted to do that for a living.
Yeah. So that's why I got into travel.
And do you ever see yourself making any other different kind of content?
Strangely enough, last night actually, I started Adventure Singh's food diary.
Ah.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I feel like Nairobi has all these restaurants, but like some of them are just so expensive and you don't get your worth.
Yeah.
Like the food's worth, and then
you pay for the ambience.
Yeah, you're paying for ambience, and then there's other places where like it's either cheap and like the food is so good. So I want to explore that entire industry, and I feel like if there's someone who's actually putting a little bit of pressure, these guys will not only will the ambience be great, but also the food quality will start coming up. Right now there's there's a whole movement, and I don't know how much I can share about this, because like
it's okay.
I kind of want to be like the person who's like, okay, move aside, kids. Giant coming through to the entire travel blogging industry. Yeah. I mean, not travel blogging, sorry, food blogging industry.
Yeah. Sit down.
Yeah, sit down. I've given you guys enough time. I'm fed up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
now you want to do more food curated content now, because travel and food go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand, definitely. It's kind of like a side hobby thing. Yeah, it's like, okay, when I spend my time in Nairobi, I feel like I've come to a point where my videos I'm able to edit like a lot faster. I have quite a bit of time on my hands when I'm not traveling.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this as more like a passion project. It's not something that I care if it blows up or not. Just a passion project. So yeah, but like I think it's fun creating that kind of content. I'm mixing into my Adventure Singh. I'm kind of mixing in like self-help, life motivation type of content.
Yeah. We
Cause
need more of that, especially from a Kenyan point of view.
Yes.
With all the taxes that were being imposed, we need a lot of self-help.
Yeah.
The high cost of living.
I like how you brought in the tax aspect of it, but yes. But I feel like more than tax, dude, like our psychology is just so messed up in this day and age.
Yeah.
Because of social media, the way we've been brought up. There's a lot of like spiritual aspects of our lives that we're missing out on, and people are not even aware of it.
Yeah.
And because people aren't aware of it, people are blaming circumstances around them.
Yeah.
Rather than owning up and being like, okay, you know what, I can make a change. I don't need the outside world to make a change for me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like content that I'm starting to get into. I'm slowly inching into that as well. Yeah.
We have some impalas here.
There's some over there actually, if you want to get footage.
Oh, okay. I mean, if we go back then he will run.
Impala. It's the coolest thing when you can see all these animals in the city in the background.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so surreal, man. And the crazy thing is when you're in the city, like you don't even realize this is here.
You don't.
You don't.
And that's one of the reasons why I like Nairobi National Park. When I'm bored, I'm like, man, I need to experience travel and just come here. Just feel like I can just come here.
Last year, 2022, I went through a breakup. It was quite difficult for me.
Yeah.
But then it led me to go down a path of self-actualization. And like I started realizing how a lot of people have problems, and the reason why they have problems is because of all this like childhood trauma and all these small things that have happened in their lives that have led them to have certain beliefs. So same with me, like I had certain beliefs in my life that led me to act in certain ways in my relationship. And I was just constantly blaming the outside and blaming all these situations, and I wasn't woke to the fact that like it was all me. I was creating all these situations in my life. So I talk to people, and like maybe not relationships, but maybe like money, maybe family, maybe their relationship with their siblings or their mother-in-law or something like that. Like everyone has this pain point in their life, and like I ask them the same question: does it feel like it's a cycle? And all of them say yes, it feels like a freaking cycle.
And as you say, now if you made content that, because you're really good at making content, so you might as well use it to help them
exactly
get there. And speaking of making content, which is your favorite part of making content? Is it creating the story, filming it, editing it, or posting it? Which is your favorite? What's the order of your favorite to the least favorite?
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say coming up with a story
is the number one your favorite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2 is filming. Number 3 is posting. Number 4 is editing.
Yeah.
And I used to say that I hate editing, but like that was something I was affirming into my life. Again, the cycle. And I don't want that to be a cycle in my life anymore. So I really started enjoying myself with editing. I feel like when I'm editing, I do create the story. I make the story like a lot more. It's where you see the story coming to life. So maybe I'll just put it in that order. Like I think editing would come to number 3, and then finally posting. Yeah.
Okay. I think so. I have mine changes. Sometimes editing is number 1, and then sometimes, especially when I'm starting to edit, it's number 1. By the time I'm finishing, it's the last.
Agreed.
Because it takes too much time, and sometimes it doesn't go the way you thought it would go.
Yeah.
Maybe the story at the beginning, the story makes sense, and then at the very middle point, you don't know how to connect the beginning and the end.
Yes. I like that challenge, though. I kind of like that challenge.
Yeah. This is the first time I've seen a jackal in Nairobi National Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, then they're just there on the road, just chilling. And they don't seem to be scared, huh? Like they usually run away.
Yeah, they usually run away.
You guys are just looking.
I think there's an animal they're tracking. They've been following.
Possibly.
Like a warthog with their babies. Yeah, if you see them not running away, there's something they're tracking.
Yeah.
On this side, yeah.
You were when you were in the travel content creation space, we only got a chance to travel once.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like that situation where, okay, if I'm going to place XYZ, number 1, will they agree to accommodate the other travel content creator? If not, number 2, can the other content creator afford to come to that place?
Yeah.
Or number 3, does it make sense for that content creator to come to that place?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why there's kind of like that disconnection between travel content creators.
I agree with you, because I remember when we did our thing. That's the first time we met. Do you remember?
Yeah.
We went to Diani, Uganda, South Coast, and it was a partnership with a tour company.
Yeah.
And you invited me, I remember.
Yeah.
We went to Kisite, Mpunguti.
Yeah.
And Shimba Hills.
Yes.
And it was a really good experience. We were you remember, was it David? The food content creator.
Yeah, David. He's become a chef now, huh?
Yeah, he makes really good food. And really good. And I'm so proud of him, man. Because at the time he was doing travel,
and
but he wasn't
struggling.
Yeah, he wasn't comfortable.
He was not comfortable
at all.
But now, like he owns what he's doing now. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he found his thing. When content creators come together and make content together, is it better if that has been organized by either a single creator through a partnership, or is it better if all of them are like, you know what, we'll just pay for ourselves and
I think both.
Yeah.
So it really depends. It depends on where you are in your content creation journey, because I feel like the bigger you are, of course, you can afford experiences. So I think if you're a bunch of big content creators, it just makes sense to pay for the experience and do what everyone does best without having that pressure of like, oh, we need to have a certain deliverable for organization, right? But if you're a new and upcoming content creator, then you kind of have to lean on the organization to sort out that budget aspect of things. But you're kind of restricted at that point.
Yeah.
In
those 6 years that you've made content, is there anything that you would want to take back in how you've made content? Do you ever think that you should have made more content?
I wish I was more consistent.
Yeah.
But I feel like my consistency has come out of my inconsistency has come out of circumstance.
Yeah, and necessity, especially here in Kenya, where you don't have to, you cannot rely on that thing. You have to get a job.
Yeah. There's multiple different things you have to do. When you're a budding content creator, the opportunities are way low.
Very low.
Yeah. So it's like, okay.
You weigh your options.
Yeah, it's like, should I go shoot this wedding to make this money so I can go travel more, or should I take this free trip? Yeah, so I feel like definitely the inconsistency, but I feel like I wouldn't have any way around it.
Yeah. When you're filming weddings, do you have any tips of someone who would want to film a wedding?
Oh my gosh.
Things that people don't really think about.
That's like an entire different topic on its own, man. Do you even want to go there?
No, like, do you have like a specific thing that most people don't really think about?
I think people just think about the shot. They don't think about the love and the chemistry between couples.
Yeah, so the story, you don't really
it falls apart.
Yeah.
You really, really, really need to think about the chemistry, and if a couple doesn't, okay, you see, every couple has what? Are we going from content creation to wedding photography?
It's part of who
this is my
are.
huge forte.
Yeah.
So every couple has chemistry, and every couple is very beautiful, but there's like a barrier between them and the camera and the person behind the camera.
Yeah.
Because they've never been in front of a camera before, and they've never expressed their love in front of a camera and a stranger, right? So you kind of have to know how to bring down that barrier before you can even start thinking of, rule of thirds, I'm going to light this way, I'm going to do that. You can have the most beautiful shot in the world, technically, but if the chemistry between the couple is not great in that photo, then that photos or the videos, it's trash.
It's dead, yeah.
So you need to sit down with the couple, or you need to have like a session where you're literally just breaking down that wall. So for me, I have a pre-wedding photo shoot. It's mandatory, and that's when like I'll show them who I am, and I learn who they are.
Yeah.
So their walls start coming down, and they can be fully themselves, and then that's when now you can start taking amazing photos. Like, I wouldn't lie, at the start of every couple shoot, like, they're usually 2 to 3 hours, and the first like 20-50 photos, okay, like I'll click one where they're looking at the camera, I'll get them to smile at each other, and I show it to them, they're like, whoa, but for me it's still trash.
Trash, yeah.
But that's good enough for them to be like, okay, we're in good hands.
Okay.
That's number one. But for me,
that's
I know
why you do the pre.
Yeah. Okay. But for me, I know this photo is trash.
Yeah.
Now, as we go through that couple shoot and they're comfortable, they've even forgotten there's a camera. Now we're just having fun. They're laughing, I'm laughing, they're in love. And now they're in love. Now you can see there's no wall anymore. Now you can see the chemistry. And I think that's what a lot of videographers, photographers miss out in the wedding photography industry. Yeah.
When you're editing, is it as emotional as I would think it would be?
Yes. Yeah. My entire.
Are you crying when you're editing?
Well, not really, but yeah, sometimes I'll create a story that, like, when I sit down at the end of it, and like, so my entire family watches every video. That's how much they love seeing the chemistry, because it's like a movie at that point.
Yeah, it is.
And they'll always be like, oh my gosh, all the couples you shoot, they're so in love. And I'm like, yeah, but like I bring that out in them.
that is so interesting.
And it's interesting because, like, I've heard of stories where my films and my photos have actually saved people from getting divorced.
Ah.
Yeah.
So wait. So they're going through a rough patch in their marriage.
Yeah.
And then they look at the album and they're like, okay, maybe we were happy here.
Yeah. There's something here.
That's something I never really thought about.
Yeah. And I feel like that's how I even justify my costs. So I take up very, very exclusive weddings nowadays.
Yeah.
Because my time is more spent on Adventure Singh. But like I tell people, like, hey man, these are photos you're gonna look down the line 20, 30 years from now. I've had clients who have been on like the brink of freaking divorce and they look at these pictures and they're like, oh my gosh, no, we were actually in love.
I remember there's when you met, the first time we met, you're telling me about this story of you were going to shoot a wedding and then your cards were full but you didn't know they were full.
No. Let me tell you what happened. This one, oh my gosh, yeah, it happened during that time. I had this one client, she's a good friend of mine.
Yep.
And she's loved my photos for years.
Yeah.
And she was literally, I feel like she wanted to get engaged just so that she could have photos taken by me. So, fine, we shot the engagement, and then right after the engagement, I had left for this the trip to the coast, which was a month long before I met you.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because you went to Lamu.
No, we had gone to Watamu first.
Watamu, yeah.
So at Watamu is when I realized, hey, my cards are full. I can't continue vlogging. I need to back all this stuff up. So I left those photos to back up.
Yeah.
Is what I remember. And when I went back to the computer, like there was no like that completion percentage thingy. So I thought it had fully backed up. Disconnect, put in my camera format. So during this trip, like mid-trip, I've sat down again. I think we had reached Kilifi at this point, and I was like, okay, let me sit down and edit these photos for her. So I'm going through my hard disk and I'm like, where are these photos? Like, I opened the folder, it's empty, and then my heart sunk. I was like, oh God. Luckily, I had a second photographer. And I was like, yo, dude, I've lost all my photos. You have yours. And he had just a few of them. So I called her up and I was in tears, man. I was, first of all, I was scared.
Yeah.
And I was so sad. I was like, this girl has wanted pictures from me her entire freaking life, and I ruined it.
Yeah. And this one moment whereby you've already decided, okay, fine, I'll take photos of you, and then now you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel that pain. We both cried on that phone call together. But she was so sweet. She was like, you know what, it's okay. I did another photo shoot for her.
Yeah.
And she's been so amazing. Like, she recommended me to all her friends still.
That's nice.
But it's funny because all the friends are like, so her engagement, you kind of lost her photos. Will you lose ours? And I'm like, I learned my lesson. I do like 5 backups.
So when she recommends you, she always mentions, oh, by the way, he lost the photos that we took.
It's interesting though, because they all hire me and like they all love my work.
Yeah.
But that one question keeps coming up. But I feel like every friend in that clique that I've covered, like they feel safer and safer after every wedding. Yeah, because it's like, okay, I mean, he's got his stuff together, you know.
And because you started with wedding photography and videography, what did you carry to travel photography and videography? Do you have anything a tip that you carried through? Maybe you haven't really thought about it, but like
back up twice, back up thrice. I feel, I think that's like the best tip I can give. I think the other aspect is like it's quite technical, and don't do it just for the money.
Yeah.
If you're shooting, you're talking about weddings in specific, right?
Yeah.
If you're shooting weddings, I don't think it's something you can do just for the money.
Yeah.
Because you're spending long hours standing and you're shooting like everything, and things just go wrong left, right, center. And at that point you need to become like a problem solver.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this place is a black room, how the heck am I going to bounce my flash anywhere? And you need to think of like, okay, my assistant's wearing a white shirt, I'm going to bounce my flash off him.
Yeah.
And that, I feel like those thoughts only come up when you're doing it because you love it, not for the money. Because someone else will just be like, screw it, man, I'm just going to point my flash directly and take the most mediocre photos ever.
Yeah.
I'm being paid anyways, you know?
Yeah. And that's a really good tip for content creators, especially people who are starting out.
Yeah.
There's this perception of, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and by video 3, I'm going to pop up, and I'm going to start making money and doing all these things. And then you get super, you get culture shock, whereby you realize even getting 50 views is not
difficult.
easy.
Yeah, you gotta love the process.
Yeah.
You gotta love the process. And I feel like I have to constantly remind myself of that, because the brain is so hardwired to think about like, oh, when I get this, then I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah.
But you have to constantly remind yourself, no, I love the process, and like even if I don't get the views, even if I don't get the money, even if I don't get the recognition, I'm still gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because I love the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this goes to what you said, what the video that you did.
Let me take a picture of this. It looks
Okay,
really cool.
That's GRM.
Yeah, like it's a really nice like leading line shot.
When you're making reels, do you use your phone?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got lazy with reels. I'm just like, hey, let me tell you, okay? But for whoever's listening to this, you have to build yourself to this point, obviously.
Yeah.
I got invited to Mombasa to shoot a reel for a hotel. And when I went there, a restaurant knew I was there, so even they invited me. So
a different restaurant from the hotel?
A different restaurant from the hotel. So that was a double payment. And at the same time, I realized there was an event going on. It was Ramadan season. And you know how Mombasa gets during Ramadan, like the street food. The street food.
Yeah.
I realized that's going on. All I had was my phone. Now, for someone who's been traveling around with that big backpack, camera, lenses, drone, blah, 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 moving around with the freaking iPhone, at this point, like, can I even mention how much I made? I made a lot of money just with this thing, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's freaking insane. So yeah, that's kind of like brought in some laziness into my life. So I just move around with my iPhone.
So just your phone, yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like this has also been a great investment.
Yeah.
But then again, like the point that I said earlier, you build yourself up to it. Like, I feel like all those years carrying around that backpack and the lenses and the whatever, it was an investment.
Yeah.
It was an investment in building the Adventure Singh brand.
That has taken 6 years.
It's taken 6 years.
Yeah.
To now a point where people know me so well, people trust in my ability to tell a story that I can just show up with a phone and no one will question it.
Yeah. So it is possible to make content with your phone without really thinking about, I need to buy expensive gear.
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
now with the world of TikTok and Instagram, where you just make reels and just like,
I feel like Reels and TikTok has made it very easy to get into the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously vertical video.
Yeah. Simple. People want to see like the less processed aspect of things.
Of filmmaking. And also phones have become really good.
Yeah, phones have become really good. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity now, man. A lot of it. You just need to find a creative edge.
Yeah.
And just use that.
And also be patient. Like by being patient also, you kind of build an audience.
Yeah.
And your consistency with it that comes with it will retain people.
Yeah.
That's something that most people give up on. Most people, actually, there was a statistic I saw that most podcasts are usually like 3 episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then the 4th, they
I
give
think
up
I'm one of them.
I
I didn't give up. I just actually I need to sit down and come up with like more topics to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's most people give up because they don't get the audience they thought they would get. And then now it's like, because most podcasts usually pop up after like the 100th episode.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to 100, most people see 100 as a big number. You just have to see yourself doing, okay, you know what? once a week, right?
Yeah.
In a year, that's 52, 50. Even if you take 2 weeks break,
Yeah.
that's 50 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the second year, by the second year, the end of the second year, you have popped up. You have at least have.
You know, I think at the end of the day, like, you need to realize. Do we do the light still?
No. I forgot.
I think people need to realize it's if you're going into it as a business.
Yeah.
Any business that you start is not going to blow up the first year.
Yes.
So think about it the same way. You're starting a business.
Yeah.
It takes time for people to know you. You need to market it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and just be patient. But of course, when you do start a business, you go into it smartly. You go into it knowing like, okay, I have this amount of money, and this is going to be my investment into the business, and I have to keep feeding it. So I have to keep myself sustained for X amount of time. You know.
Yeah.
Not that you've gone into it as that let it be my main source of income for now. Then 3 episodes down the line, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not making anything. Now I have to go get a job.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you about partnerships.
Yeah.
As a creator, which is the best way to approach a brand? What do you think would be the best way to do it? Giving advice to young creators who want to, either they're afraid of approaching a brand, they don't know how to do it. Is it purely about numbers? How can you show your value?
Okay, I feel like it's a hit or miss over here.
Yeah. In
my experience, I have seen guys looking at numbers, but also then again, I charge a lot.
Yeah.
So I think you need to show your value. If you're up and coming, you can share like what ideas you have in mind. I think there's this huge notion of like, oh, if I share my idea, they're gonna take it and give it to someone else. Yeah, they can do that, but like, will that someone else execute it as well as you would?
As you would, okay.
So if you go on with that belief that, you know what, I can execute the way I have it in my mind, and no one can touch me. If you have that belief in yourself and you approach these brands like that, then you should be okay. I don't think numbers at that point would matter. However, it's kind of like it's this balance between how many followers do you have versus how much do you want to charge versus what's the quality of your content. Because when you don't have followers, you're relying mostly on the quality of your content.
Yeah.
So at that point, like, you have to be really good with either telling a story or visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The thing, my advice usually is fast start. Yeah, there's no way you can get partnership without showing what you have already done.
Yeah, exactly.
And by fast starting and making the travel content, pay for yourself, go somewhere, do something really nice that you're proud of. You might not get the audience that you think you should get.
Yeah.
But then use it now to.
But now you have a product.
You have a product, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do this for you.
And oftentimes when I'd have that attachment of like needing that business and that fear of like, oh, what if they don't, I would like push to be like, okay, but I can give you a better price, but I can do this, and I would never get the client. Until I started Adventure Singh, and I would just throw out stupid figures to clients and not even care whether they would book me or not. And oftentimes than not, they would book me at the crazy prices, and I was like, okay, so what's happening here? Until I realized being attached to anything you want in life is just not a good thing at all. You need to have this carefree, not give an F attitude.
Yeah.
So if you're rejected, just be like, okay, you'll come back. I know you'll come back. Yeah, I've had brands who have reached out to me after being rejected.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, see.
And then now you
pay me triple.
Yeah, you give them a much bigger quotation.
Yeah. So
compared to what you have done.
Yeah, exactly. So don't have attachment to it. If you get rejected, it's totally fine.
Yeah.
That doesn't say anything about your value or your worth.
Yeah.
It just means it's not the right time for you.
For
and
that.
the time will come. Yeah.
And it usually does.
It usually does. It always does.
It does. Because I've been in that situation as well, whereby you get rejected and then you feel really bad about it.
Yeah.
And just move on, and then
that's the thing. You don't want to feel bad about it. You want to soothe yourself and tell yourself that, hey,
they're not ready for you.
They're not ready for me. They're not ready for this greatness. And then you just put your head down and get back to work and look for someone else.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you know it, the other people will come crawling back, and you're like, yeah, boy, it's fucked. Yeah. We have this attachment to all these outcomes, right? And that's why we do all this research. Then we start shooting ourselves in the foot like that. So I'll give you an example. 2 times I went to Hildana, and I told myself, again, it was safari based, I told myself, I don't care. I'm going to create content because I love creating content, and I'm not going to care about how the story is going to turn out, and I'm not going to pre-script anything and blah blah blah. I'm just going to go do my best and move from there. So the video came out really well. I enjoyed my time. Like, I was in the moment with my family, and I was able to pull out the camera when it just felt right. And I did my best. There was no pressure on like, oh, I need to research this or research that. Oh, I need to retake this, I need to retake that.
The ability to believe in yourself. After you've done videos for 6 years, you have to think back and see that you've gained so much experience without even knowing that you don't even really need to script anymore.
Yes.
And first of all, you're very natural on camera. Like, you don't really think about it.
You don't think about it. So like, you have a chance every week, you know what I mean? Yeah.
With the current growth in AI that we've been seeing, especially with this year, have you ever thought about, or do you ever think about how you're going to incorporate it in your travel content? And also,
I already have.
How do you do it? Or what do you do right now?
So like, okay, right now if you look at my reels, like my captions and stuff, they're just being generated by AI. I think AI is slowly moving into like video editing.
Yes.
It's not made the strides that I would have loved it to make yet, but it'll get there.
You'll get there.
So like quick cutting, now like we're filming a podcast right now, there's actually like this software that you can put on Premiere Pro that cuts up all the uhs and ums, and it can also cut like the different camera angles for you.
Is it Adobe Firefly or something like that?
So even in my photo editing, like for weddings, there's actually software that can it edits all your photos in like a matter of minutes.
So it kind of knows what exactly you need.
Knows exactly what you need because you've fed it like previous data.
Presets and stuff like that.
It's so freaking cool. So like, I've already incorporated that into my business and stuff. So you
do believe AI is really good for creators? It's not there to replace creators, but rather
it can't replace creators. Actually, even I use ChatGPT a lot to come up with like my basic of the script. Even my last yesterday I uploaded a video on YouTube. And the title of the video I used ChatGPT. So I asked ChatGPT that, okay, I have this video and this is what the video is talking about. Give me the best title. And then give me 10 options, and then I took the first option. It just works. It just works. But here's the thing also. Now here's where you need to put your creative input and your experience. Sometimes ChatGPT will give you something, but like of course it doesn't sound like you. It doesn't have your personality.
That's true.
It doesn't say things the way you would, you know.
That's true.
So that's where you need to go in and make those. You don't just tell ChatGPT, "Oh, write me a script on how to travel Kenya." You need to like actually go in, take that script, and now make your changes and be like, okay, this is what I would do.
It's a tool to give you raw data, and then now based on that,
a good starting
you
point.
can now personalize it.
And
make it your own. I agree because Even with scripts, I have done a few scripts with ChatGPT, but I always just get extracts from what I want, and then I'll make my own thing.
So that's where I'd say ChatGPT can never replace a creator.
Okay, because you'll never be you.
Yeah, it'll never be you.
That's true.
It'll just be a robot.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So it's this side.
Hey, the park is nice and empty.
Yeah. I love this park. The reason why I love Nairobi National Park is obviously it's one of the oldest parks in Kenya. It's 1946. So in my head I imagine during colonization, like there were animals here, like life was going on in the city, and also it's very small, but it has a lot. The only big five animal that we don't have is
elephant. Yeah, we have everything else. Yeah,
it's because of space, but we have everything else. It's super underrated as a park.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the amount of work AWS does on this park, because you can imagine you have a park in the city center, so human-wildlife conflict has to always happen.
Yeah,
like every other day there has to be a lion going outside and eating someone's goat, chasing people. There are some that went to the city center, so it's very small, but there's a lot of work that goes into this park. Yeah, and that's why I love it, because then in as much as it's in the city and it's known for being in the city, the people that work in this park, they truly like working in it because
they like working.
It's an interesting place to be in. Do you have a favorite animal?
Yeah, the elephant.
The elephant. That's your favorite?
Yeah, I love
Why?
elephants. I don't know. They're just cool. They're like very majestic. They're large.
I don't know why I thought you'd say giraffe.
I was gonna say giraffe, but I feel like giraffe is like my second favorite animal. But elephant definitely.
I don't know. For me, it's a hyena.
A hyena?
Yeah, because it's very misunderstood. It's very, if you think about it, if you think about what a hyena does, it's very misunderstood, because it technically cleans up.
It cleans up the environment.
But it's known for being greedy and being dirty and being,
ugly.
Yeah, but it's my favorite animal, like, because it cleans up. It has the best immune system. Like whatever a hyena eats, if you ate right now,
no, you can't.
Even a spoon full of what it eats, you'd be gone. You'd be taken to hospital right now.
But then, like at the hyena's feces, like it's done. Like that's where the ecosystem is done. I don't think even any insects can eat that.
Can eat that, exactly. Yeah, because it's too much.
But it cleans up everything else.
It cleans up. Yeah. It would be that and a badger.
A badger?
Yeah, honey badger, because it's the most fierce. Like it doesn't fear any animal. And so when a honey badger goes to a beehive to eat honey, it will eat honey and it will get stung multiple times.
Oh man!
And then if it was a normal kawaida animal like you or anyone else,
it would run away,
or you would die because of the stings.
Yeah.
But then it will just faint. And then after like a few minutes it wakes up and continue eating the honey.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's one of the most strongest. It has the best immune system, and it has there's some animals that I always watch their documentaries and I'm like, man, if people really love animals, they would have to find the humor in creating an animal that just, it doesn't fear anything, but it's very small. Imagine if it was big like a hippo.
Hippos are crazy.
Yeah, I don't like hippos.
I don't either.
Imagine if hippos ate meat.
I don't think there would be a human population, bro. There would not be a human population.
Because the hippos kill to kill. They kill because they want. They can.
They just kill
because they can.
Like what the hell?
Like, they're always hot-tempered.
They won't think that they are rhinos.
Oh yeah, finally. These are southern white rhinos.
Wow. Where's my phone? They're walking right towards us.
Yeah.
I'll show this to my sis.
And they have like a young rhino there. Yeah, well, at least you've seen rhinos. Looking for rhinos.
And it's actually so cool how you can see rhinos in this park, like so many of them.
Yeah,
I think the conservation efforts on rhinos have.
They're on your side.
The conservation efforts on rhinos has been incredible.
Yeah, over the past few years, it has been really good. But this was a nice podcast. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, dude, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Fun chat. Nice drive around the national park.
National park, yeah.
Being in nature
on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, this was great, man.
Yeah. You said you have a podcast as well, or you had, or you?
I do. It's called Thoughts of a Kenyan Travel Blogger.
Yeah.
So like, it's very interesting how you've extracted all my thoughts.
Oh.
I put them here.
It's on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's audio based?
It's audio based for now. Yeah.
Okay. And you just do by yourself?
I just do it by myself.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.